Nurgle's breaking in. He's ready for the Tamurkhan news. Are you ready for the Tamurkhan news? Are you ready for Tamurkhan news? So there's actually some fun things. We got blog post. We got Total War, Warhammer 3 Thrones of Decay, Tamurkhan. A blog post about updates. Greetings. Decay is rolling through the known world of Warhammer. And 3 new legendary lords have emerged to push ingenuity and conflict into a new dawn, alongside a suite of new units, lords, heroes, campaign mechanics, and more. Thrones of Decay, our latest paid expansions, will be arriving in Total Warhammer 3 alongside Update 5.0. Looking forward to the patch as well. So let's unearth our latest arrivals. Those of Invention, of Amethyst, and of Pestilence. My god. Man, we're getting 2 Nurgle Lords? 2? Like, good thing I got picked the best Chaos Lord. This week, we're delving into the first legendary lord to arrive in Thrones of Decay, one of Nurgle's greatest champions, the infested master of hosts and bringer of desolation, the Maggot Lord himself, Tamurkhan. As the stuff of lie and legend, tales of the savage commander trailed back for millennia. So it's best we set the record straight and meet an infested warlord for the ages. Tamurkhan the Maggot Lord. Tamurkhan is rumored to be many things. A monstrous warlord, an arrogant commander with Nurgle's favor, a hideous mutated giant. Rumors aside, one thing is for certain. An army is gathering in his name, and even the Elector Counts themselves will have their resolve pushed to its breaking point when it arrives. At a glance, here's what Tamurkhan brings to the table. So we got Tamurkhan, and those are going to be the Nurgle Beast Boys, aren't they? Ooh. Ooh. Oh, and in the background? Ooh. 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 We're seeing things. This looks weirdly photoshopped in over here. But it looks good. It looks good. Oh, what a cute boy. At a glance, here's what Tamurkhan brings to the table. Tick. The combined durability of an ogre infested with a corpse maggot of Nurgle makes this legendary lord tough to kill. Hard hitter. Wielding an axe with great bullish strength, this unit hits especially hard with high armor-piercing damage. Boobabalos. Tamurkhan can be mounted atop the unique toad dragon, Boobabalos, for aid in combat and traversal. Tamurkhan's Chieftains, a unique campaign mechanic focused on recruiting the strongest warriors around and earning their fealty to achieve ultimate victory. Do they show us a picture? Yes, they do. Okay, we see one of the Chieftains coming up. As a true reveler in death and decay, Tamurkhan the corpse maggot once burrowed into the flesh of other mortals to become their puppet master, never finding the perfect match. Until now. Adoring the power that the mass and strength of an ogre body brings him, Tamurkhan grew attached to the only 4 he commands today. The body of the ogre tyrant, Karaka Break Mountain. Look at the cute boy. Look at that map. He doesn't have a lower jaw. What happened to his lower jaw? That's dislocated jaw, big time. It can make some people real happy. On the battlefield, Tamurkhan has a suite of abilities at his disposal. First up, Feast of the Maggot Lord, a passive ability only triggered upon his death as a last-ditch attempt to cling onto the margins and deliver serious damage to the victim, outright killing those below a certain health threshold and granting Tamurkhan a second wind to get back into the fray. So they said this heals. So depending on how hurt they are, it sounds like it's also an instant death ability. So that's interesting. Outright death. Okay, interesting. With Nurgle's favored son, this active ability grants him melee defense and an increased ward save, and the Rotting Host passive ability decreases the weapon strength and leadership of those within 35 meters of Tamurkhan, the latter of which can be decreased even further with an Ogre Kingdom classic, Arspelcher. For those that still dare face the Maggot Lord, his Black Cleaver active item will ensure they regret it, granting magic attacks, significantly increasing armor-piercing damage, and a boost to base weapon damage for all allies within range. This ability sounds like this might be another one of the potions for Festus. Do you guys remember how strong Festus's potions were? This could be busted. We'll find out. we'll find out when things come to be. But we're getting the chieftains. We're getting chieftains. So this screen I do want to actually look at. Pursued units are recruited from the chieftain's units recruitment panel. So we can recruit. To be considered befouled by even the virulent hordes of Nurgle is a disgustingly impressive feat indeed. Kizik the Befouled. He gives movement range. He's got a special item. Wasting sickness charge. Chieftain fealty. Increase the fealty of Kizik the Befouled via the following actions. Oh, so we're going to have to keep them happy? Creating plates, defeating warriors of chaos, Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, or Norsca in battle. Recruiting Kaziak the Befouled will earn these rewards. Unlocks Chariots of Nurgle. Unique talisman and trait for Kaziak. So we need to do feats to recruit these units? Are these going to be like locked units? Attaining this fealty level will earn these rewards. Unlocks Chieftain ability. Unlocks Rot Knights. +1 Chariot of Nurgle. Okay, and this is we're going to get limited units for certain things. Because this image is the same one they use for all the capacity stuff. Yeah, over here, look, Chariots of Nurgle, Rot Knights, Toad Dragons. So some of these units are going to be capped. Interesting. Attaining this fealty level will earn these rewards. Unlocks Chieftain ability, unlocks Toad Dragon, and 1 Rot Knight. So do we start off with base 1 capacity? Because this gives +1 capacity to Chariots of Nurgle. So I think when we unlock it, we get at least 1. Gotta catch them all? Yeah, we do. This looks like an updated Bretonnian mechanic. Does this look good? I can see that a little bit. Ooh, I could see that for Bretonnia. Dang. And like, that's how you could... I could. And up here we see a bunch of the others. Unfortunately for you guys, I don't know their names. And I'm not good enough with the lore to know their names. But we got this guy over here, who is clearly Nurgle. This one looks like he was once a vampire or something. I'd say this was a vampire at one point. We got this is the Norscan hero, a Beastman hero, another Beastman hero, and Chaos Dwarf. Mixing the units from other factions is cool in my opinion. Yeah, it looks good. They look interesting. Okay. Chance of plague spreading 20%. Oh, ooh, 20% is a lot. Activate, and you can go and make enables attrition for enemy armies and Kazak's current army's province. Okay, and these were the 2 abilities. Chieftain ability. Yeah. Okay, so this one gets a lot. This one got unlocked here at aligned, and this one over here. And you need to do these things to unlock these. So 0 out of 13. Okay, that seems cool. And then you'll get different things most likely for the different dudes. Ooh. Okay, let's actually read how the chieftains work. With the body of Karaka Break Mountain as his own, Tamurkhan's knowledge is matched only by his strength, and he will use both to gather the strongest warriors the world has ever seen and adopt them into his own twisted army, absorbing the many strengths of those that could not defeat him. Tamurkhan can gain the fealty of many chieftains from various cultures of the Warhammer world and unify them under a single banner, his banner. Using his 2 key resources, dominance and fealty, okay, we're getting new currencies, Tamurkhan can decide how best to manage his acquired chieftains. Dominance, the main resource is gained from winning battles. This must be spent to acquire chieftains, activate their abilities, and add their units to his own recruitment pool. The fealty of a chieftain is increased by taking action that said chieftains approve of, whether it be raiding settlements, razing cities to the ground, or wiping various opposing forces off the map. For example, if Tamurkhan seeks a devoted chieftain from the Chaos Dwarfs, he'd best express the same hatred for the Skaven as they do. Interesting. When their fealty increases, Tamurkhan can reap the benefits and favor units and special abilities, culminating in a mighty thematic quest battle on his path to gaining boundless loyalty from these great warriors. So we get a cool fight. It's only a matter of time. And now we'll hear about the chieftain himself, Kaziak. Kaziak the Befouled. Legendary hero Kaziak the Befouled, Kurgan champion of Nurgle, serves as a living memory of what Nurgle's blessing can do to a soul. This mighty chaos champion gave everything to Nurgle, losing his voice to Nurgle's rot and sacrificing his form so that he could stand alongside Tamurkhan as a mass of corrupted flesh. In service of Lord of Decay, being one of the first to join Tamurkhan's banner, Kaziak swept through the Chaos Wastes as his chieftain's lieutenant, commanding his own infested gang of horsemen with the Rot Knights, who we'll be meeting shortly. In battle, Kaziak is a tank. His health regenerates in combat. Nice. And thanks to his corrupted flesh passive ability, he's granted an increased ward save when above a certain health threshold. Ooh, making him harder to fell. Always mounted atop a raw beast, Kaziak has access to Befouled Charge, a passive that triggers when charging, of course, granting himself and nearby allies increased speed and increased charge bonus, while stripping the enemy of their charge defense versus large attributes. Plus, with his Sword of Filth item, Kaziak can spread Decay to those he strikes, afflicting them with decreased melee defense and armor. This charge here, that could be really fun. It sounds on paper, not super flashy, but stripping them of their charge defense, dang, that could be real good. Chaos Lord of Nurgle. Having earned the great favor of the Lord of Decay, the Chaos Lord of Nurgle stands as a generic lord to the Chaos God, with skills only held by the very best of Chaos warriors, who leave nothing but rot in their wake. These guys are so strong as heroes. Oh my god, as lords. With the sword, shields, and a variety of mounts at their disposal, the Chaos Lord of Nurgle leads as a durable and beefy warrior, with an increased health pool. As a debilitating unit, this lord inflicts poison damage and fear upon the enemy, while buffing nearby troops by spreading leadership and melee damage reflection bonuses to them with Rot or Die. I'm seeing a lot of things that look like they might be strong. But who could forget the weapon he seeks? The Father of Blades, rumored to be the first sword ever forged, is an active augment that the Chaos Lord of Nurgle can acquire to increase his armor-piercing damage and reduce the melee attack of nearby foes. Most likely one of the choosable abilities, like with the heal. Or maybe in the standard die side. I'll only name standard die because that's the only one I know by heart. Oh, I'm so happy. Stripping ability seems the new deal. It does. And I kind of like it. Stripping abilities can mess you up real good. We're getting them as spellcasters, as heroes now as well. Oh, so many heroes for Nurgle. Powerful spellcasters capable of harnessing the raw winds of magic have found themselves at home with the Lords of Decay's troops. As the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle, a new generic hero, with access to both the lore of Nurgle and the lore of death, and like the many units of Nurgle before them, these debilitating casters boast poison attacks and the fear attribute. They also serve the armies of Nurgles as healers, with access to various means of regenerating their abilities, making them a vital asset on the field. Nurgle is such hero span. Now we're down to the units. Oh, Pestigors. Blessed since birth by Nurgle, the Pestigors of disease and pestilence serve their god with the trademark vigor of their fellow beastkin, alongside the infested, oozing, bloated skin from the mark of Nurgle. Honestly, I think they look pretty cute. In the heat of battle, as well as debilitating their foes, Pestigors stand firm with their own durable skin and muscles, sporting a high health pool for an infantry unit. With their weapon of choice, a two-handed great axe, the Pestigors are masters at smashing through armor, piercing it with a single strike. It's also sounding like Nurgle, just AP through the roof. It's pondered that the most high esteemed of pestigores are blessed with a mutation, the Tears of Nurgle. This passive chain hex may only be triggered once, activating when within range of an enemy unit, resulting in infectious secretions from every orifice that slows the opposition down before spreading through their rings. This makes them a prime candidate for Vanguard deployment, another intrinsic trait of the pestigores. They do not follow the pack. They lead it. They look good. Who knows? Everything looks good to me right now. You can't trust me right now. I am untrustworthy. I am untrustworthy right now. Everything Nurgle, I'm going to be like, I'm excited. It looks good. I'm untrustworthy. Disclaimer. Not to be trusted. This person. It's Nurgle. I'm biased. I'm sorry. I'm biased and I'm not actually sorry. I like Nurgle. Plague Ogres. Ooh, baby. Perhaps taking inspiration from the visage of their commander, Tamurkhan, the Plague Ogres are twisted amalgamations of a once ordinary ogre, with both body and mind contorted by the blessings of Nurgle, joining Tamurkhan in his pursuit of the Empire. Plague Ogres are the brutish humanoids that fell in battle at his hands before accepting the Lord of Decay's power. In return for their lives, they grew fat with infestation and disease. I feel like I misread something in there. Plague Ogres are the brutish humanoids that fell in battle at his hands. Because ogres are humanoids? I guess so. I don't know. Bigger, better, stronger. They mean more loving. They're built for punishment. Oh God. More loving, and they're built for punishment. Rot Knights. Oh my God, the Rot Knights look cool. Yeah, the Rot Knights look cool. Oh, okay. We'll open this one. Yeah. I like this pose. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, this one looks cool. I told you, untrustworthy. Rot Knights are one of the selected few Chaos Knights blessed with the mark of Nurgle and the power to ride rot beasts into battle. Although the Chaos armor they wear has grown rusty with time, the Rot Knights, a new monstrous cavalry unit for Nurgle, can still take a beating, sacrificing some of their speed for thicker skin with increased health, defense, and regeneration abilities. The goal of a Rot Knight is to lock down large targets on the battlefield and shred their health thanks to their giant claws and one-handed lance, delivering potent anti-large attacks. Oh, we all know what Nurgle's missing. Anti-large. Ooh, the look take. Please don't suck. Oh my God. With regeneration, the Rot Knights have a weakness to flame, but can regain their health over time and enjoy an increase to their melee defense when the heat of battle. Yeah, okay. Them not sucking has just become more and more likely. What did they do to Oscar the Grouch to turn him into a mount? He looks great. Look how great they look. Regen, anti-large cav. There is a claw. Yeah, you are right. There is a claw over here on the back one. So their left arm seems to be pincer stabby thing. And then right arm is... Sounds like the wet dream of Bretonia. Squelchingly wet, yes. Oh, so we got Bile Trolls next. We'll go and look at this one as well, because I forgot to do it for the other ones. We'll do it for the other ones. They got little bells on their horns. They got little... Wait, what the heck's happening over here? What do we got? Ooh, they've been stapled up too. Ooh, cute boys. Cute boys. Okay. Under the shadows of the Chaos Waste, Nurgle set its sights on these trolls, inflicting their flesh and burrowing deep into their guts, gifting them with the blessing that should have consumed them. What remained was a bulbous monstrosity, a bile troll endlessly eating itself alive from the inside out, only to regenerate and devour itself once more. You know the D&D games where you talk about going and keeping a part of a troll so you can go and sell troll liver endlessly? Oh, man. Nurgle's so fucked. It's great. This blessing is a boon to their inherent passive regeneration in combat, letting them shrug off wounds as they strip their own damaged skin and replace it anew. With poison attacks on their side, the Bile Trolls can strike fear in any foe they approach, and can pierce straight through their armor with their one-handed blade. With all that infestation going on beneath the surface, the Bile Trolls can expel it with corrosive bile hex effect, softening the armor and flesh of their opponents, and plummeting their victim's melee defense for an easy kill. Share their curse at your own risk. You're gonna die. Toad dragons, let's go and look at our cute baby. Let's look at our cute baby. It doesn't have eyes, does it? Wait. That's the front. My mistake, that's the tail. Wait, are those two? I'm not sure I completely understand. No, that's two. They're two toad dragons. And they got that. But they're looking cute. The true horror of Nurgle doesn't just lie within the bellies of its rotten soldiers, but also within the reptilian nightmare that often dwells in the northern wastes of the known world. The Toad Dragon, a rare sight and monster of Nurgle, brings a thoughtless level of hunger and violence to anything that crosses its path, melting flesh with its bare teeth or squashing victims flat with its weight. With the help of its cruel anatomy, the Toad Dragon swipes through armor with its thick claws and lashes out at targets with its I don't know how to say this word, proboscis tongue, snatching them from their hiding place and reeling them into its gaping maw. Those, however, are the lucky ones. This large hulking creature specializes in smashing through even the most compact of formations and holds its place within Nurgle as their largest, most expensive unit to date. With heavy missile resistance, the Toad Dragon borders an unkillable, but it's what lies within that truly makes it something to be feared. With its active ability, unspeakable foulness, the Toad Dragon spews forth a blast of flesh-rotting horror, delivering explosive damage and inflicting poisonous burns on its victim as their skin slips off in sheets and their organs turn to liquid. Decay is but the least of their worries. Oh, proboscis? Is that actually how you say it? Well, thank you if it is, coworker. Nurgle Legacy updates. So Nurgle is getting an update. A lot of people have been calling for Nurgle to get an update, and this will, a little bit of today's campaign is that we have it nice, fresh in memory, or that before we get to try things out. Nice? Good. Let's go. So, there are going to be changes to Nurgle in general, which, let's read through it and decide how we feel about the changes. We'll also have to see them in-game to make decisions on it, because I really like how Nurgle is, so I'm hoping, just don't change the way the buildings work. Before we wrap up this grim tale of Tamurkhan and all things Nurgle, we wanted to address something that's important to both us and you, our players. We've taken in lots of your feedback from our prior DLC regarding legacy race updates, and we are committed to making the rejuvenation of those races' core mechanics a key element with the release of Thrones of Decay. With that in mind, here's what we've cooked up to enhance Nurgle as a whole, for Grandfather's Lord, both present and future. Plagues. Plagues have been completely reworked from the ground up, impacting Kugoth Plaguefather, Festus, and Tamurkhan. Here's a sneak peek at what a new plague system. Okay, let's go on. So plagues have changed. Okay, so we still have 3 that we can pop in. And it looks like we unlock them in a chain. Speed increase. Each modification costs 50. Okay. Cost to create plagues. What is the issue with the current system? The problem with the original system for plagues is that it was completely solvable. As a player, there was an objectively strongest route to take and no need to deviate from it to maximize the benefits and minimize the drawbacks. This took away from the Nurgle fantasy of experimenting with disgusting new diseases that we want players to feel. And some of them felt a little weak. Not gonna lie. What are we changing? Plague symptoms now exist within a web, with certain symptoms connected to each other, letting you combine 3 of them to create a plague. The UX has been redesigned to better showcase how the plagues will affect both Nurgle and now Nurgle factions. Positive for Nurgle, negative for everyone else. I thought that one was obvious. The symptoms located within the plague web will shift with every 3 plagues. So your first plague may allow for connection between... The symptoms location within the plague web will shift with every 3 plagues. So your first plague may allow for a connection between symptoms granting casualty replenishment, growth, and recruitment health. But on the next cycle, those symptoms could be nowhere near each other. You'll have to conjure new plagues from what's available to you. As a result, special combinations have been removed. That's cool. And at the same time, you might not be able to get that. So I think you need to go and have them all be connected. So if these webs shift or these move about, you won't be able to maybe get your favorite one. And maybe you'll just quickly spam some trash ones, some trash plagues. Or, that's interesting. That does make it more RNG dependent. Unless I'm just going and putting growth on all my settlements and that's all I'm gonna do. This is good, going to make you more adaptive. Yeah, it's gonna be less I do the exact same thing every single time, because you guys are about to when we actually do start playing the game, we're gonna be doing with plagues what we do with plagues, which is growth. So that's really interesting. I like that. The symptoms location within the plague web will shift with every 3 plagues. So you're, I just read that. So if you don't like the one you're on, you can go and spam to get to a new one. Sort of spam, because you can... We'll see if we are still limited to 1 plague on a lord and 1 plague on a settlement. We're introducing a new type of symptom, blessed symptoms. These are assigned randomly and change with every plague cycle. And symptoms, while blessed, has its effect doubled. Oh! You found a more virile, you find, oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, there's definitely more RNG in there. And it might make you want to pick up. So if one of the ones that is less interesting to you, maybe, let's say, what might be less interesting? I'm going to go and just throw out here. I have no clue what this one actually is. Let's say this one slows an enemy army down by, like, they lose 20% movement or something like that. If it's blessed, then it would be 40% of their movement gets removed, which might make this one more tempting when it normally wouldn't be. Ooh, I like that. Don't forget plagues reroll every 3 plagues. Yes, they do. That's why I spam 3 plagues to go and reroll it. So if you've got... So the thing that this re-rolls after every 3 plagues, it really just means if you don't like it, just go and make those plagues. Guessing from different things, this is most likely growth. This has casualty replenishment in it. I would have assumed this was going to be casualty replenishment. Interesting. He did that one. This is extra speed for your army. This gives you the big heal spell on your lord. This is most likely going to be missile resistance. This is going to be when plagues spread, most likely. More armor, more magic, cheaper building or less time to build, melee defense, melee attack, weapon strength, Nurgle corruption, armies cost less money. These are my guesses. I have no clue. And I can talk so freely because I actually have no clue. My guess is that +1 is more to cripple enemy replen. Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe. If it is crippling their replenishment, that's not that great. So these are the three these show. Ooh. For a second, I think they might have hovered over this. No, they didn't. They dodged it. Okay. Plagues, so if they get the blessed effect, the effect is doubled. So that 10% replenishment rate on the first one would turn into 20, yada, yada, yada. But might make something tempting that wasn't tempting before. So that's kind of cool. Plagues can now be mutated with increased effects, increasing the spread chance, extending the duration, and much more. Which is this stuff over here, I believe. So over here, spread increased chance by so-and-so, duration, so-and-so, immunity. So that's the extra cost. So a plague costs 200. And this is called liquefying lungs. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. So me coughing all the time. Kugoth Plague Father benefits greatly from the system. He is uniquely able to have many blessed symptoms active at once. Ooh, allowing him to conjure much more fearsome diseases than his peers and decimate the world with unholy infections combination. Nice. Helman Gorse is going to wish he'd set up shop somewhere else. Ooh, baby. Your face is covering this? Oh. Let me get rid of my face. I'm sorry. Nurgle's more important than my face. Way more important. Over here, over here you see plague modifiers. So you can increase the spread chance. It just costs you 50 rot flies. You can increase duration. Costs you 50 rot flies. You can reduce people's immunity. Oh, because you can get plague defense as some races. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Ooh, I'm excited. Bless symptoms, yeah. hey, extra beautiful symptoms. Yeah. So Kugoth gets extra blessed, boys. So he, instead of 1, it doesn't say how many he gets. Normally, as any other faction, the imply/say, you get a blessed one, which is the double strength of the base thing. So Kugoth can have many more. Ooh, baby. Okay, and now the part that I'm worried about. What is the issue with the current system? Nurgle's unique cyclical buildings had led to some unique and thematic gameplay strategies when it comes to recruitment, but we felt it had a negative impact on their economy and defensive capabilities. I see why you asked, Vacoma. Well, it's too complicated. Well. What are we changing? Military buildings are still cyclical, but all remaining buildings are now static, like the other factions in the game. Military buildings now cost infections instead of treasury. Do that for all buildings, to help with managing the choice between improving infrastructure and recruiting forces. We have done an economy pass on the buildings following this change to help with Nurgle's difficult financial situation. They do have a money issue, allowing players to choose the treasury building rather than having their economy gains split between all chains. Resource buildings have had effect overhaul. Cult buildings have undergone an effect past. The remaining cyclical buildings can now be rushed by spending infections. Well. I'm getting everything else I want. This is the first bit of news I don't like. Not gonna lie. The cyclical buildings is so unique and fun and thematic. I know that Nurgle, like, I suffer from the Nurgle not having money. Everyone suffers from the Nurgle not having money. Everyone suffers from Nurgle not being able to build his buildings because they're too expensive. But what they're doing for the military building is making it cost infections. That would have been enough, in my opinion. Or making it a mix between infections and money, or giving you the choice to pay either infections or money to build the buildings. That would have been enough to mitigate this. The rush construction's happening for lots of people, yeah. But this is the first bit of news that dampens my excitement. Love Nurgle, but don't love being unable to field more than one semi-decent army because the economy is too flimsy. The economy is too flimsy because you can't build your buildings, because once you've got your buildings up, your economy is fine. It's just, if your buildings cost 10k gold, you're not going to be able to build that. Doesn't matter for the econ buildings, though. It's just making Nurgle less thematic, in my opinion. It doesn't matter too heavily, but it's taking away from their core thematic. Like, I think CA did an amazing job with the way they did the building structure for Nurgle. Like, straight up, hats off. Amazing. The problem for me with the buildings was really the price, because the investment cost, it's so hard to stomach as Nurgle. What they're doing here for the military buildings, I think would have fixed it for a lot of people. I don't think they needed to do the second part of going and making the other stuff not cyclical. I think that was an unnecessary extra step. But on the good side of this, okay, let's go and look at the positives of this. If you take an enemy settlement, there's a possibility of you maybe getting a building, because currently, if you take any settlement, you won't get any buildings unless it's a landmark or a resource building, because none of the normal buildings from other factions correspond with the Nurgle cyclical buildings. So you can't take over their infrastructure. Buy a Nurgle economy booster pack for 10 years. Yeah, no. Early game is so rough. Early game is really rough with building, because the initial price is so... It's just so rough. Early game, you can't afford 10k, 13k buildings. It's, you know... That's more than it costs to go and build your settlements up to tier 2, tier 3, tier... That's the cost of building up a settlement like to tier 4. So it's very, very rough. And then the ones that actually do really give money are the military red ones. Those are 500, 400 respectively. How much gold you can gain from them. So, any ideas about where the new lords will start? I'm assuming Tamurkhan's going to be up somewhere near Norska. If Elspeth isn't in the Empire, I'm going to laugh. And then Malachi... I don't know where Malachi is going to end up. And then Epidemius... Who knows? But yeah. Defensive buildings going cycle is horrible. Defensive buildings don't exist for Nurgle. Nurgle doesn't have defensive buildings. Hey, face to push. Nurgle doesn't have defensive buildings, so they're not cyclical. The stuff you get, the units you get in your settlements from building buildings as Nurgles, don't change as it goes through the cycle. So that's not an issue. It just takes away from the thematic, but on the good side, maybe you'll get a few more buildings when you take over a settlement. Recruitment. What's the issue with the current system? Nurgle's unique recruitment is currently too punishing for the benefit of instant recruitment. What are we changing? Recruitment costs and recruitment health are now tied to the Nurgle corruption level of the province that the military force is recruiting in. 30% health as 0 corruption, 60 health and minus 50% recruit cost at 100 corruption. That's cool. With the addition of rushing construction, cyclical buildings should help with filling up recruitment pools in the early game. Depending on the level of corruption in an area, your units come in at more or less health. If you're at 0 corruption, you get 30% of the health of the unit when you recruit it. If you're at 100% corruption, you get 60% health of the unit, and it costs 50% less than normal. Honestly, I never saw an issue with this. This was never a problem. The only reason you had no money was because you couldn't build your buildings. Like the crux of the money problem for Nurgle is this, that their economy, their buildings are too expensive. I never had an issue with this one. Because if you've got these buildings, you can afford new buildings, or you can afford an army. But if you can't build your buildings, which give you your eco, you can't afford building your buildings, and you can't afford making an army. But yeah, this was never an issue for me. This, however, seems pretty cool, and I'm chill with this. This is cool. This is nice. When this update will come live? When the DLC is released, which I believe is the 30th. But, yeah. Tech tree. What are the issues with the current system? I do agree Kugoth's, well, the Nurgle tree could use an update. Nurgle's technology tree is lacking a clear direction and was designed too heavily around Kugoth's Realm of Chaos experience. Yup, there's so many skills in there where you're like, but I'm not even fighting these dudes. Why is this here? Because of Realms of Chaos. So this is good. What are we changing? Nurgle's technology tree is now split into 2 distinct groups, one focused on military and the other on campaign faction bonuses. The layout has also been reworked to make it clearer and easier to progress through the tech tree. I want to see the tech tree. I have no opinion on this, but it's good to see it being updated, because a lot of Nurgle's tech are just like, but why? But why? And with them changing the buildings, they most likely need an update anyways. Army abilities. What are the issues with the current system? Previously, Nurgle gained army ability points based on the amount of damage taken. We felt that this didn't reward Nurgle players enough and seemed like a consolation prize for losing units. What are we changing? Nurgle now gains a passive income of army ability points for every enemy unit in the battle map that is currently being affected by a negative effect or debuff. This plays into Nurgle's playstyle of spreading debuffs and contact effects and makes them even more desirable for both campaign and battles. Okay, that's interesting. So the army abilities are now contact effects and stuff. So your plagues often have contact effects, and a lot of Nurgle units do. So we might get our abilities easier, or it might be harder now. I'm not sure. This will definitely need to be played. We're confident that these changes are going to enhance the Nurgle experience for everyone who plays them, whether you're scorching the lands with disease as Kugoth, harvesting souls for Nurgle as Festus, or gathering an army of chieftains as Tamurkhan. I like how they're avoiding mentioning Epidemius, but it's out there that it's Epidemius. And just maybe there's one more one more legendary Lord of Nurgle waiting in the wings, ready to be unleashed in Update 5.0. But for now, I reckon we've catalogued enough plagues to keep even Grandfather Nurgle himself happy. So let's see what we got coming up next. Up next, for more details on Tamurkhan the Maggot Lord, and to see this infested commander in action, keep an eye on our official channel for our first Thrones of Decay showcase. Okay, so we're getting a video from them at some point. We'll be back next week with a look at the Empire's latest Elspeth von Draken before tackling the dwarfs Malachi Mackayson the week after that, and wrapping up our reveal the following week by delving into some free additional content arriving in 5.0, including the Fated Nemesis crown and a legendary lord. I think someone at CA made an oopsie. There's bad communication between their PR people, and some people think Epidemius is only going to be revealed at the very end. You'd hug him? Nice. He's so small. He is small. We got Big Nurgle with Ogre Boy, Tamurkhan, and then we got Small Nurgle. So I'm really excited. But yeah.